Welcome to my workshop. In today's video I got a perfect project for a DIY tinkerer if you've got kids or maybe you've got some grandkids. Beautiful, really interesting storage option in a shape of a house. Check out the video. Alright, fun little project ahead of us. The material I'm going to be using is plywood. Now, because the boxes themselves are not very large, and to be fair, they're more decorative than anything else, I'm going to be using 8mm plywood for the outer body, and then I'm going to use 6mm plywood for the box that actually goes inside. I'm just utilizing what I have in my workshop. If, for example, you want these boxes to be, well, a little bit more sturdy and you're going to be using it more often, your kids will be using them, then I would suggest a bit thicker material, at least 10mm ply for both parts, the box itself and the outer shell, preferably something thicker than that. Now I got myself ready for this project, so I made a small mock-up to see what angles I'm going to need to cut out and if I've got enough material for it. And fortunately I do. Now the tool you're going to be using to cut everything out, it all depends on you. In my case, as you can see, I'm just setting up my table saw for our first angle cut. And I'm setting the saw to 22.5 degrees. Now, obviously, you can do the same thing with your miter saw if it has got the capacity to make those cuts. If you are using a digital angle finder like I am, the actual degrees that you need to see is 67.5, which on the table saw the indicator will tell you it's 22.5, and that's what we need for our first cut. And now we need to make a 45-degree cut. Now, before we continue with our project, I just want to say a massive thank you to the sponsors of today's video, which is JLC Mechatronic Components Marketplace. So let's quickly jump to my laptop and I'm going to show you what they've got on offer. And there is a lot. You can find them on JLCMC.com. And if you register with them, you will get a $19 coupon for your shopping. Do you love building, tinkering and bringing ideas to life? Well, finding the right mechatronic parts can be a bit of a headache, but not anymore. As you can see, the wide variety of products on this website will make it your go-to source for everything. Mechanical, electronical and even robotic. Whether you are upgrading your 3D printer, building a robot or fixing your latest DIY project, they've got all the parts you need and it's all in one place. JLC offers high quality components, easy ordering and very fast shipping, so you can spend more time creating and less time searching for the right part. But that's not all. They also offer custom parts as well. 3D printing, CNC machining, mechanical parts, PCB, PCBA. Just choose what you need, upload your files and they will sort you out. So if you need any parts to fix something or maybe for your upcoming project, now you know where to go. I'm going to leave a link to their website down below in the description of this video and in the pinned comment. But now let's head back to our project. Okay, so over here on our board we've got the 22.5 degrees, and now with that setup, this edge, right, the top edge here needs to ride against the fence, and we're going to be cutting the 45 degree along the board. In my case it's going to be 17 centimeters, so just like that, this type of cut. Well, I have to say I made a slight boo-boo. Now, these pieces will become our top. So we need 45 degrees on the tops and 22.5 at the bottoms. And I did mention I wanted them to be 17 centimeters wide, okay? So the angles are here and I wanted 17 going across. I've done 27, my own error. So there we go. I've cut the correct sizes. That's the width we need. 45s right at the top, just like so. and 22.5 on the edges. However, not a massive issue with regards to the other two boards that are too long, as now I already got the 22.5 degree angle on them. Okay, so I just need to cut them to the right length, and in my case these will be the sides and they need to be at 20 centimeters. And now we need to cut out two bases. They're going to be 22.4 centimeters wide. And this time I'm actually using 10mm plywood, as I have just run out of the 8mm one. But it will make no difference for the whole project. And there you go. That's the general shape we are after. At the top, you've got two 45s. Okay, so that piece and that piece, they're both cut to 45. Next, on here, we've got 22.5, same as on the other side. And the walls themselves, that angle is also 22.5 degrees. And as you can see, this is way too deep. The plywood I was using, it's 40 centimeters, and I need the depth to be 19.5 centimeters. So first of all, I'm just gonna set up my table saw to 19.5. Gonna lock it in place, and let's make the cuts. Before gluing all the pieces together, I'm just going to give them a quick sand just to clean them up a little bit, and it's just a little bit easier to do it at this stage. Okay, so let's glue this up. First of all, the top itself, I'm just going to flip it over like that, marry it up. And to hold both of the pieces together, I'm just going to use a bit of painter's tape. It will act as a bit of a clamping pressure as well, but it will hold both of the pieces together. And now we can add the wood glue. Pull it together like so. And what I'm actually going to use, I've got these spring clamps, absolutely fantastic bit of kit, not expensive at all, but will hold your piece in the right position. Absolutely brilliant. Really handy tool, especially if you glue in some awkward type angles. Now we can add the sides to this as well. And again, I'm going to use a bit of tape. Now we're going to add the base and some clamps to hold everything together. And there you go, just wipe off the excess and then wait for the glue to set. Okay, and the outside boxes are now ready. So now what we need a solid bag. It's up to you how you're going to sort this out. For me, I'm going to trace the whole outside perimeter of this box. I'm going to cut this out and then wood glue and probably some brad nails at the back to lock it in place. I'm also going to then trace the front, and the front will actually be the front of our box that will go inside. One suggestion from myself, just leave a little bit extra of material as you're going to be cutting out the shapes, 1 or 2 millimeters, as then when we attach it to our box we can use a flush trim router bit and go around the perimeter, having a perfect fit on our box. And now it's up to you how you're going to cut out the shape. Really, whatever you've got in your workshop. You can use a table saw, you can use a miter saw, jigsaw, or a bandsaw. I've used painter's tape to actually connect all 4 pieces of plywood together, so at the same time I can cut the shape of the roof on my bandsaw. It's just the quickest and easiest way for me. Okay, now it's time to put the back onto our boxes. I'm using wood glue and some brad nails to make sure I've got a nice and stable construction. However, if you don't have an air gun, don't worry, you can just use screws, normal nails, or to be absolutely honest with you, wood glue on its own will be fine as well. And now with the trim router, I'm just going to trim off any excess from our back. And check that out, nice and flush with the base. Okay, so we've got our main boxes now fully sorted, okay? Bit of sanding on the outside and we're ready to go. Now we need to create the inside box that will basically be our storage. Now we do have another pair of these, and again they are a little bit oversized, okay? I want them to be the full front, covering the plywood edges as well. So I need to flush trim them to the exact same size. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to use these. So the oldest trick in the woodworking's book is a bit of painter's tape and CA glue to connect both together, have a nice and a fairly strong connection so I can flush trim them. And I'm going to put a bit of weight on this and leave it for a few seconds for that CA glue to set properly. It's time to cut out the rest of the pieces for the boxes themselves. Now let's put the boxes together. Again, I'm using wood glue and some brad nails. Now let's put our attention to the fronts that will become the house front, if you wish. In the top of it we need to create an opening so we can actually pull the drawers out and pull them back in. And for that I'm using a 50mm hole saw. Now just simply paint the front of our boxes to the color you want. In my case I'm making one for my son, one for my daughter, so blue and pink. I just want to secure the outside boxes with a bit of protection, so I'm using spray varnish. Time to install the fronts themselves onto our boxes. However, to be fair, I haven't thought this through as well. I should have really painted the front after I mounted on the box itself, as well I'm going to be shooting brad nails, so I have to repaint the spots where I shoot the brad nails, so not the best solution. Also, obviously, to save material, this is the front of my box. Now, for example, if you were doing a full box, then that's not going to be a problem. You can use some screws and screw this from the back, and you know, all depends how you want to do this. But to avoid my mistake, make sure to attach the front, if you're going to be doing like me, before you actually paint this. It will save you some work. Now, how I'm going to do this the easiest way, as well, basically that will be flush like so, and it will be attached to the box. So I don't want to mess around with measuring anything. Therefore, I'm just going to put a spacer right at the back, get that box inside, press it against that spacer, and as you can see, now I've got that lip and I can marry up the front to this like so. I think that's the easiest option to do this. To start with, I'm actually going to use a bit of CA and wood glue and allow this to set a bit, and then I'll come back and add some brad nails to the front. Now, as I say, this is more decorative than usage, so I'm not expecting massive forces working on the front. However, if in your case this will be more than just a decorative thing, then you need to make sure that the box itself is a little bit sturdier, and you use different type of fasteners to make sure that, well, eventually the front will not fall off from the main box itself. And now just add a bit of weight, give it a few minutes, and we'll come back with some brad nails. Now there's one more thing that our box houses actually need, that's doors and windows. It's really up to you how you're going to tackle that, how you would like to have them. You can just paint them on the top of the fronts and that will be absolutely fine. You can, for example, drill holes that will pretend to be the doors themselves and the windows, for example. Also, what you can do, use a jigsaw, thread saw or anything like that to cut them out of plywood. Me, well, I want to save some time, so I'm going to use my laser to do the hard job for me. Now I have marked the positions where the brad nails need to go so I don't overshoot it. And yeah, I'm just going to secure it with a few brad nails to make sure the front stays in the correct position and it will not come off over time. Okay, now it's time to install the doors and the windows on our boxes. And for that, I'm just using CA glue. It's the easiest and quickest way to do that. And now the very last step is just to seal it up with a bit of spray varnish. And check these out. I think they came out absolutely fantastic. Brilliant little addition to any kid's bedroom, and with a bit of storage option as well. Super cool. And as I said, they look absolutely brilliant. So there you have it, guys. A fairly simple idea, but it will add a very interesting and cool design to any bedroom. And of course, these don't have to go only to kids' bedrooms. You don't have to paint them in any color. You can just leave them wood color, maybe a little bit rustic. And yeah, it just adds that special look to any room, something quite unique. And apart from the looks itself, it does have an additional feature where you can actually hide your stuff away. Absolutely brilliant little project. Now I just want to say a massive thank you to my Patreons for the ongoing support, and I want to say thank you to you as my viewer. I hope you enjoyed today's project and today's video. Now don't go just yet. I do have a few more playlists over here with tons of videos you can watch. So check them out and maybe you'll find your next video to watch. But for today, that's all. Thank you so much. Take care.